Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Just Coding with Pablo. In the previous video, we created reusable functions that we'll be using throughout the development of the blog API. Today, we are taking it a step further by creating authentication endpoints, specifically the sign in and the sign up route. Let me switch over to my VS Code to show you what we'll be doing. If we take a look at my folder structure, my project structure, we'll start by creating the API folder, which I have already done. If you haven't, please do that. Then we'll create the auth folder, which is going to house both our sign in and our sign up endpoint. By now, you will have noticed that I appended .post to the name of each file. The reason why I did that is to let the user know, or to make it easier for me to create my post endpoint without having to do any additional conditional check. So if a user tries to use the get method for this, it's going to return a 405 error method not allowed, which you can see. But let me give it a try again. Method for status code 405 method get is not allowed on this route. So for us to be able to reach the endpoint, we're going to use the post. And as you can see, we got an error because of I haven't written anything inside the file. It's expecting a defined event handler, but there is nothing there. That's why it's giving out this error. So let me pause the video and write the logic that will be in the file. So now that I've written the logic, let's test it. Let's test the API again. And you can see it's now working, meaning that we're hitting it with the right method. So let me go back to my endpoint and write out the logic. So for every request that is sent to this endpoint, we need to be able to read the body. With that, we'll be using the read body composable. But if you want to validate to ensure that you are sending the right body, we use this read body, the read validated body, which takes in the event and also the schema. So for our schema, for us to be able to create schema, we'll be using Zod. Zod is a schema library. There is a validation library. But what it does is validates. It allows us to create a schema, which we are going to use to validate our body. So first of all, you make sure you do your npm install Zod. I have installed mine already, as you can see. I've installed mine. If you want to install it, type in npm oh, npm install Zod. Once you type in, click enter, and you have Zod installed in your system, your project. So let's import Zod. Import from Zod. Then we go ahead and create our schema. First, sign up schema, which is going to take in the Zod and the object. That will be our shape of our schema. Then we have the first name, the last name, the email, and the password. Let me pause the video. When I'm done writing out all the logic, I'll explain it. I'll go through it one by one. Okay, so I've written quite a lot. Let me take you through everything one by one. So first of all, we started with our schema, which is this. Let me bring it to the top. Doesn't matter wherever you put it. So our schema, which has the first name, the last name, the email, and the password. So we're validating our body against this schema using the read validated body. If there is any error, it goes through this logic here, which throws it. The create error is another composable that was created for us. So what we just need to do is pass the message validation error, and then the field error, which is this. So what field is having the issue? Then when everything is all right, if everything is all right, we'll put it through another variable. It's not necessarily you do this, but I just for clean code sake, I'm doing this. After that, we call our own composable, the function that we created, which is the use Firebase composable function, which returns the sign up, the create, and the delete account that we're going to be using for this code. After that, we take in our clean data and put it in the parameter, the sign up parameter. What the sign up needs is the email, the first name, last name, and the password. We'll put it here. Or what this means here, it is this three dot means spread. Basically, rather than me writing it like this, I'm just spreading everything across the object. This sign up returns two variable, that's what I should call it, two objects, data and error. But because of data has been used here, which is this, we're renaming it to this user data and user error. So if it throws the message, which is filled while signing the user up, or if there is no error, create the document in our database inside the user collection, the data. But we want this document to have an ID. Like what we are the one assigning it an ID. So we're going to be using the ID created by our authentication, which is this. We're going to be using it to store document inside this collection. So this the user document, what is it storing? It's storing the display name, the email address, and also the ID in the collection user. In case there's any error while we're creating the user, we need to delete the account that just got signed up, and then we'll throw a message saying that filled while storing the user's data. But if there is no error like that, if there is no error, then it sends in a message, and let's test our API to see whether it's working. I'm going to pause the video. We're going to be passing, first of all, let's pass in wrong body. Okay, I remove this. Let's see. And yep, as you can see, we got our error message, validation error. And we know why, because of our body is not correct. So let me return back, let me write back the correct one. And let me try and create a user. As you can see, the user has been stored successfully, meaning that we both signed up a user and also stored the user in the database. So let us go and check the console to be very sure if that has happened, if you're having doubts. Let me pause. So, okay, let me refresh my console. As you can see, the user collection has been created and the data has been stored. John Doe email address. Then let's go to the authentication. As you can see, we already have the user created here already. So back to the code. Let's now write the logic for signing in a user. Okay, so the logic for signing in a user is somewhat similar, but there will be a few changes. So if you can see, as you can see, I have my schema here already to validate my body, which takes in the email address and the password. If there is any error, it will come through this place and send it to the user. And if there is nothing, it moves on. I push it into this variable, then I call my sign-in function from my use Firebase composable. If there is any error while we are signing in a user, it sends out this message. And if there is no error, it returns the token, the email address, and the display name. So let's test the APM, test the endpoint to see whether it's working. So we're going to change it to sign in. Remove the first name because it's not needed, and sign in the user. as you can see, as I said earlier, it returns the token which will be used to verify the user when he's trying to use other protected routes, then the email address and the display name. So there you have it, guys. That's how you create an authentication endpoint. Okay, so guys, while I was writing this, I noticed that this and this were repeated. So why not just create a function that we can use for both of them since they are both validation error? Then we pass in whatever error to it. Let me create a function here, my utils folder. So how am I going to call it? I'm going to first of all import z error from z. Then my function async. If async, then that'll be validate body. What it does is it takes in the z error. So it takes in the z error as a type. Let me first of all copy this, but this is basically what we're going to do. So you take this and you bring it here. The parameter is going to be error, which is z error. Yeah. If this, let's export it. So then we're going to reuse it. So what this function is basically doing is when there is an error, map it and throw the error just like how it was here. Then let's call the function. So await validate body. I think I have error. It's going to take in error. The same thing will be done for our sign in. So let me import it real quick. So that will be all for today. So let me do a quick recap. We were able to recreate and we were able to create an authentication endpoint for our blog API. We're also able to validate the body to ensure that it's the right thing that is coming through. And now we're able to, what else were we able to do? We're able to ensure that users actually signed in and were able to log in by getting their token and their username, display name and password, display name and the email. So in the next video, we're going to be building the post endpoint, and if time permits us, we'll be able to cover the comment endpoint. It's going to be an exciting one, guys. So make sure you do not miss it. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That'll be all. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.